The grand chamber of the Galactic Council stretched impossibly high above Ambassador Olivia Reed. As she took her first steps into the hall, her heart pounded in her chest, but her face remained calm. She had trained for this moment for years. Yet, nothing could truly prepare a human for the overwhelming sight of 10,000 alien representatives gathered in one colossal space. The diplomatic team behind her moved in perfect formation. They were the best Earth had to offer: diplomats, scientists, and military leaders chosen to represent humanity in its most important moment since discovering they were not alone in the universe. Olivia glanced at Captain Adam Foster and gave an almost imperceptible nod. They had practiced their strategy extensively, knowing this moment would define humanity's place among the stars. The council chamber resembled an enormous amphitheater with curved tiers stretching upward like a massive inverted pyramid. Each section housed representatives from different sectors of the galaxy. Their forms varied wildly, from crystalline beings that glowed with inner light to massive amorphous creatures that shifted and bubbled in containment fields. Some appeared nearly human, while others defied description entirely. At the center of it all stood the High Council, 5 ancient species that had governed galactic affairs for 50,000 years. Their representatives towered above the human delegation, positioned on elevated platforms that symbolized their authority. The message was clear. Humans were small, insignificant newcomers. Grand Arbiter Velnar, a being composed of what appeared to be living light, raised all 4 of his upper appendages, and the chamber fell silent. The Arbiter spoke, his voice translated through the neural implants given to the human delegation before their arrival. Representatives of Earth, you stand before the Galactic Council as supplicants. Your species has been observed since your first primitive radio transmissions reached our monitoring stations. We have watched your development with great interest and some concern. Olivia stepped forward, as practiced, her voice steady. We come before the council not as supplicants, but as equals seeking mutual understanding and cooperation. A murmur rippled through the chamber at her boldness. The Arbiter paused, clearly surprised by her declaration. Captain Foster moved to stand beside her, strategically positioning the rest of the team behind them in a display of unity rather than subservience. As most new species typically showed, the move was subtle but its meaning clear. The third council member, a being known as Cool, with scaled skin that shifted colors with his emotions, leaned forward. You claim equality with civilizations that were exploring the stars while your kind was still learning to control fire. Fascinating audacity or dangerous ignorance? Olivia smiled diplomatically. Our understanding is that the Council's founding principle is that all sentient life holds inherent value. We have reviewed the charter of membership provided to us and see no requirement of technological advancement as a prerequisite for equal standing, only the ability to engage in peaceful diplomacy and adherence to the fundamental laws of the Council. This was their first calculated move. Olivia's team had spent months studying the documents provided during first contact, finding the loopholes and inconsistencies that might give humanity leverage. The second council member, a being resembling an enormous jellyfish with tendrils that contained visible electrical currents, spoke next. The human speaks correctly about our charter, but fails to understand protocol. New species are typically granted observer status for at least one galactic cycle, approximately 300 of your Earth years, before consideration for representation. This was expected. Olivia nodded respectfully to acknowledge the statement while Captain Foster activated the data display they had prepared, bringing up historical records. Captain Foster spoke for the first time with careful precision. Our research indicates 17 exceptions to this protocol in the Council's history. Most recently, the Vulgarian Collective, who were granted immediate representation after demonstrating unique biological adaptation capabilities that were of interest to the Council. He paused, allowing the information to display clearly, before continuing. We believe Earth offers similar unique contributions that merit immediate consideration. The Council members exchanged glances, using some form of communication the humans couldn't detect. Finally, the Arbiter spoke. What unique contributions could your primitive species possibly offer that would warrant such exceptional treatment? This was the moment they had prepared for, the hook that would secure humanity's place. Dr. Elena Morgan stepped forward, activating her own display. We have discovered a method of restoring dead worlds to habitability, she said simply. The chamber erupted in sound, some translating as disbelief, others as excitement. The Council members themselves seemed stunned into silence. Dr. Morgan continued our process. Can transform irradiated planets, toxic atmospheres, and even worlds stripped of resources into habitable environments within a single generation. We have successfully tested this method on Mars, our neighboring planet, which had been dead for billions of years. She displayed images of the transformed Martian surface now covered with growing vegetation and small seas. The data showing atmospheric composition changes scrolled alongside. The fourth council member spoke for the first time. Its voice a melodic series of tones impossible for humans to create without translation. Such technology, if real, would be the most significant discovery in 10,000 years. Many have claimed similar abilities, none have succeeded. Olivia nodded to Dr. Morgan, who activated the final display, a complete technical breakdown of the Earth terraforming process. We understand the Council's skepticism. She said, we are prepared to demonstrate on any world of your choosing under full observation. The fifth council member, who had remained silent until now, leaned forward, its ancient face composed of what appeared to be living stone. Your species proposes to freely share this technology. This was the crucial moment. Olivia stepped forward again. Our proposal is for full council membership in exchange for shared development of this technology with appropriate safeguards to prevent misuse. We believe in cooperation, not exploitation. The chamber had grown completely silent. 10,000 representatives from across the galaxy, watching intently as the High Council conferred, among themselves using their private communication method. After what seemed like an eternity, the Arbiter raised his appendages once more. The human proposal will be considered. He announced the Council will recess for deliberation. Representatives of Earth will remain as honored guests. It wasn't a victory, not yet, but it was more than any new species had achieved in their first appearance before the Council. As the human delegation was escorted to their waiting chambers, Captain Foster leaned close to Olivia. That went exactly as we hoped, he whispered. But this is just the beginning. Olivia nodded, watching the council members retreat through private passages. The real negotiations were about to begin, and Earth needed to be ready. The waiting chamber assigned to the Earth delegation sparkled with an ethereal light that seemed to come from the walls themselves. Olivia paced while her team gathered around a floating display. Dr. Morgan studied the reactions of various council representatives, her fingers swiping through data with practiced precision. Something isn't right, Captain Foster said quietly after ensuring their privacy protocols were active. The council's response was too measured, too controlled. He turned to their xenopsychologist, Dr. Lily Bennett. What do you think? Dr. Bennett had been carefully observing the nonverbal cues of the council members throughout the presentation. The Arbiter showed signs of what I would interpret as alarm when we mentioned terraforming. She said, her voice thoughtful, but it wasn't surprise, it was recognition. Olivia stopped pacing. That confirms our suspicion. They already know about our technology. The intelligence team had suspected this possibility. Earth had detected unusual satellite activity around Mars during the final stages of the terraforming project, but could never confirm their origin. The thought that alien observers had been monitoring humanity's greatest achievement was both validating and concerning. Technical specialist Noah Rodriguez joined the conversation, accessing secure files on his portable terminal. If they've been watching us, they know our terraforming process isn't perfect. Yet the Arctic incident last year proved we're still working out stability issues. The Arctic incident had been classified at the highest level, when the terraforming catalyst designed to accelerate plant growth had mutated, causing rapid and uncontrollable ice melt that nearly triggered catastrophic flooding. The team had contained it, but barely. We need leverage, Olivia said. Our technology is valuable but incomplete if they know that our position weakens considerably. The delegation had spent months preparing contingencies, but this particular scenario wasn't one they'd fully developed. They had exactly 6 hours before being called back. Before the council, Dr. Bennett spoke up again. There was something else I noticed during the presentation. She pulled up her notes, highlighting visual recordings of specific council members. The Acadian representative, third-tier North Quadrant, showed unusual interest when Captain Foster mentioned the Vulgarians. Captain Foster frowned. Why would that matter? Ambassador Diaz, the only member of the team with previous diplomatic experience among alien species, moved closer to examine the footage. The Acadians and Vulgarians have a complicated history. He explained the Acadians provided sanctuary to Vulgarian refugees during their civil war, but relations deteriorated after the Vulgarians gained council membership. There were rumors of resource disputes. Olivia felt a spark of inspiration. "That's it," she said, pulling up the council membership records. The full historical database they'd been provided. The Vulgarians gained membership by offering biological technology exactly as we mentioned in our presentation. The team gathered around as she continued searching Captain Foster. Seeing her intent helped narrow the parameters they needed to find a pattern there. Dr. Bennett pointed at the results emerging on screen. The last 7 species granted exceptional membership, all offered technological or scientific breakthroughs that benefited the Council directly, and in each case, the technology was eventually controlled by the Council, not the originating species. Noah whistled softly. "It's a pattern of technological appropriation. They grant membership, then gradually assert control over the technology." Olivia nodded. "This changes our approach. We need to protect Earth's interests while still gaining membership." They strategized. A soft chime announced the arrival of a visitor. The doors parted, revealing a tall, slender being with iridescent skin and forearms. "Council observer Toral." Ambassador Diaz whispered, identifying their visitor. The observer bowed gracefully. "My apologies for the interruption. I come bearing a private message from Council member Lyrith." Olivia stepped forward. "We would be honored to receive it." Toral produced a small crystalline device, presenting it formally. "The message is for your eyes only. Ambassador Reed." Council member Lyrith suggests viewing it when you are alone. After the observer departed, Olivia faced a difficult decision. Standard protocol required sharing all communications with the team, but diplomatic custom suggested honoring the privacy request. Captain Foster made it simple. "Take 2 of us with you to a secure corner and view it." He said, "The rest of us will continue preparations." Olivia nodded, selecting Dr. Bennett and Ambassador Diaz to accompany her to a quiet alcove. She activated the crystal, which projected a holographic message showing the jellyfish-like Council member Lyrith. The message was brief, but shocking. "Humans of Earth, your terraforming technology has been of great interest to us for longer than you realize. There are factions within the Council with designs on your world and its remarkable biodiversity approach. The next session, with extreme caution. Request private audience with the 5th Counselor. He alone can be trusted." The message dissolved, leaving Olivia and her companion stunned. Ambassador Diaz spoke first. "This could be a test or a trap. Dividing the Council, playing one member against others, is a dangerous game." Dr. Bennett disagreed. "The nonverbal indicators suggest genuine concern." Lyrith showed protective posturing during our presentation. "Subtle but present." Olivia considered both perspectives. "We need more information." She decided, returning to the main group she shared the message with the entire team. Noah immediately began searching through their database. The 5th Counselor Shoal of the Petron Collective. Ancient even by Council standards, their civilization predates the Council itself. Dr. Morgan, who had been quietly analyzing data, looked up sharply. "I found something," she said, pulling up comparative scans from Mars during terraforming and historical records from the Council database. The atmospheric transformation signature on Mars matches almost exactly with records from a planet called Eridu, terraformed over 9,000 years ago, according to these records by the Petron's captain. Foster leaned forward, examining the data. "So the 5th Counselor, the Petron representative, knows exactly how our technology works because his people invented it millennia ago." "Exactly," Dr. Morgan said. "And they've kept it secret from the rest of the Council. All this time, the implications were enormous. Earth had independently developed technology that had apparently been lost or hidden for thousands of years. No wonder the Council was interested." Olivia made her decision. "We request the private audience with Counselor Shoal, but we prepare for any outcome," she said. Turning to Captain Foster, "Deploy the secondary protocols." Captain Foster nodded gravely. "Accessing a secured channel to their ship in orbit. Prepare contingency echo," he said simply, as the team continued preparations. Olivia felt the weight of Earth's future on her shoulders. They had come seeking recognition but found themselves in the middle of ancient galactic politics with unknown stakes. Her decision in the coming hours would shape humanity's path among the stars for generations to come. Final chime sounded. The council was reconvening. Sooner than expected, they had minutes, not hours, to finalize their strategy. Olivia took a deep breath and straightened her uniform. "Whatever happens next, we stand together," she reminded her team as they moved toward the chamber doors. Earth's first diplomatic crisis among the stars was about to reach its climax. The Grand Council chamber seemed different as Olivia and her team re-entered. Fewer representatives filled the tiers. The atmosphere tense with anticipation. Only the High Council remained unchanged. The 5 ancient beings watching impassively as the humans took their positions. Olivia had made her decision, requesting private audience with the 5th counselor, while simultaneously preparing for potential betrayal. Ambassador Diaz had advised caution, but time was against them. Grand Arbiter Felnar spoke without preamble. "Representatives of Earth, the Council has considered your proposal and finds it worthy of further discussion. However, we require demonstration of your terraforming technology on a designated world before proceeding with membership considerations." Captain Foster stepped forward respectfully. "We anticipated this request and are prepared to comply with appropriate safeguards to protect our intellectual property." This brought murmurs from the gathered representatives. Intellectual property rights were uncommon in galactic politics. Most species shared technologies freely once admitted to the Council. The 3rd counselor Cool rippled his scales, displaying colors of irritation. "Such protections are unnecessary. The Council ensures fair distribution of all beneficial technologies." Olivia had prepared for this, carefully consulting with her team. "Your own Charter Section 12 subsection 4 provides for the protection of culturally significant discoveries. For a period of 1 galactic cycle," she said, her voice clear and confident. "Our terraforming process is the culmination of centuries of Earth science. It qualifies under your own regulations." The Arbiter seemed surprised by her knowledge of Council law. Most new species struggled to comprehend even basic Council protocols, let alone specific regulatory details, before he could respond. The 5th counselor Shoal spoke, his voice like stones grinding together. "I request private consultation with the Earth delegation, as is my right under the ancient protocols." The chamber fell silent. Even the other council members seemed taken aback by this unusual request. The Arbiter recovered quickly. "The request is acknowledged. Counselor Shoal will meet privately with the Earth delegation. The Council will resume in 1 standard rotation," as the humans were escorted to a different chamber. Olivia exchanged subtle glances with Captain Foster, who activated their secure communication implants. With a discreet gesture, the team was now operating under their contingency protocols, prepared for either diplomacy or defense. The private chamber was unlike any they had seen before, appearing to be carved from a single massive gemstone with veins of light pulsing through the walls. The door sealed behind them with a resonant tone that suggested perfect acoustical isolation. Counselor Shoal arrived moments later, his massive form seeming to compress slightly to fit through the entrance. His body, composed of living stone with crystalline growths that captured and reflected light in mesmerizing patterns. "You have rediscovered the great technology," he said without introduction, his voice gentler than in the council chamber, yet still reminiscent of an avalanche. Olivia stepped forward. "We developed our terraforming process independently, but we have reason to believe it resembles technology your people created thousands of years ago." Shoal made a sound like boulders. "Shifting this directness is why I requested this meeting. Your species does not hide behind courtesies and protocols. It is refreshing." He moved to the center of the room, where a depression in the floor began to glow in response to his presence. "I will show you truth," he said. The room transformed around them as a holographic display of unprecedented detail materialized, showing a star system with 12 planets. "This was my homeworld, Eridu," the counselor said, gesturing to the 3rd planet. "It was dying. Our sun expanding faster than predicted. We developed what you call terraforming to save our colonies." The display shifted, showing planets transforming, becoming vibrant with life. But the process was flawed. Shoal continued, "Unstable. The 5th colony world suffered catastrophic collapse when the catalyst mutated." Dr. Morgan gasped. "That sounds exactly like our Arctic incidents." Hull turned his ancient gaze toward her. "We abandoned the technology. Too dangerous, we believed. But it seems your species independently created it anew with the same flaws and potential. Olivia understood now the Council's interest wasn't just about gaining new technology. It was about recovering something they had lost, something they feared. "Why tell us this?" she asked. "We could simply leave. With our technology, she'll made a sound that might have been laughter." "Humans always direct," he said. "4 of the 5 High Counselors wish to acquire your technology to study it, control it, eventually claim it as their own. It is the pattern they have, followed for thousands of years, know a step forward but not you. Why are you different?" The ancient being seemed to consider this question carefully. "I have witnessed the rise and fall of 17 galactic civilizations," he said eventually. "I have seen how innovation flourishes when cultures remain distinct, how it withers under centralized control. Your species has potential." Beyond this one discovery, Captain Foster, who had remained vigilant throughout, spoke up. "So what exactly are you proposing?" Shoal moved closer to Olivia. "I propose alliance, not subservience. Your terraforming technology combined with my people's ancient knowledge could perfect the process, eliminate the instabilities, benefit both our civilizations." Ambassador Diaz, always the cautious diplomat, raised the obvious question. "Why should we trust you over the full council?" The counselor's crystalline features shifted in what might have been a smile. "You should not trust any of us, including me. But I offer proof of my intentions." Extended one massive stone hand, revealing a small device unlike any they had seen, the complete genetic record of my species, and the original terraforming protocols we developed 9,000 years ago, freely given whether you ally with me or not. Dr. Morgan accepted the device with trembling hands. "This is beyond priceless," she whispered. She'll turn back to Olivia. "The Council will demand demonstration on a dead world. They will select one with specific properties to test the limitations of your technology. I can help you prepare for these challenges, but you must decide if you wish my assistance." Olivia considered carefully everything they had learned, the potential risks and benefits of an alliance with this ancient being against the full council, the fate of Earth hanging in the balance. Her decision would need to protect Earth's interests while establishing their place in galactic politics. If they rejected Shoal's offer, they would face the council alone. If they accepted, they might gain a powerful ally but potentially make powerful enemies. Before she could respond, Captain Foster received an urgent communication from their ship in orbit, his expression darkening as he processed the information. "We have a problem," he said. "Quietly, the Council has dispatched observers to Earth without authorization, a clear violation of First Contact Protocol." So Olivia felt cold fury at this breach of trust. They seek leverage, she realized. She seemed unsurprised. The Arbiter grows impatient. He has done this before with promising species. The humans exchange glances, their contingency plans already accounting for this possibility. Earth was not defenseless, but direct conflict with the Council would be disastrous. Olivia made her decision, her voice steady and determined. "Counselor Shoal, we accept your offer of alliance, but on equal terms we will share our advancements with you directly and independently negotiate with the Council." The ancient being inclined his massive head in agreement. "Wise choice," he said. "Now we must prepare. Your demonstration will be more challenging than you imagine, and the consequences of failure more severe." The planetary observation deck aboard the Council vessel stretched before Olivia, like a transparent bubble offering an unobstructed view of the dead world below. Bleak and barren, the planet designated only as K23921 hung in space, its surface scarred by ancient impacts and solar radiation. The Council had chosen well. This world would challenge even the most advanced terraforming technology. Its core nearly cold, its atmosphere long since stripped away by stellar winds. "This is worse than we anticipated," Dr. Morgan whispered, examining the preliminary scans. "Our system wasn't designed for worlds this far gone." Captain Foster maintained his stoic expression as he stood beside Olivia, but she could sense his concern. The Earth ship Sun-Guyver orbited nearby, prepared to deploy their terraforming equipment, but success was far from assured. Counselor Shoal stood apart from the other council members, his stone features unreadable. The private alliance they had formed remained secret for now, though. Olivia suspected the others had their suspicions. Grand Arbiter Velner approached, his light form pulsing with what seemed to be anticipation. "You may begin your demonstration when ready. Ambassador Reed, the Council will observe from this vessel." Olivia nodded formally, then activated her secure link to the Sun-Guyver Captain Kelly Pierce. We are authorized to proceed. On the view screen. The Earth vessel moved into position, deploying massive arrays that began to unfold like metal flowers, their surfaces gleaming in the light of the distant sun. This is the catalyst deployment phase, Dr. Morgan explained for the benefit of the observing council members. First, we establish an electromagnetic field to hold the initial atmosphere, then introduce the base elements. The arrays began to glow, releasing clouds of engineered particles that spread across the planet's upper atmosphere, creating a shimmering curtain, visible even from orbit. This was standard procedure, the part of the process Earth had perfected over decades of development on Mars from the corner of her eye. Olivia noticed Counselor Cool communicating privately with several aides, his scales shifting through patterns of blue and green. She had studied enough of his species' communication to recognize calculation and assessment. The second phase is beginning. Noah reported as larger deployment vehicles separated from the Sunjiver, descending toward the planet's surface. These would establish the first bioreactors, creating the microorganisms that would begin the long process of transforming the barren rock into a living world. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the observation deck. Readings from the planet's surface spiking erratically. Something's wrong, Dr. Morgan shouted, analyzing the incoming data. The catalysts are mutating at an accelerated rate. This shouldn't be happening. Captain Foster moved instantly to Olivia's side, initiating security protocols, while Ambassador Diaz monitored the council members' reactions, looking for signs of sabotage. The Arbiter turned to them, expressing concern. Your process appears unstable. Humans. Olivia maintained her composure. We are assessing the anomaly, she said, while through their secure link, Captain Foster communicated with the Sungiver. All readings indicate external interference. Someone is deliberately disrupting the catalyst field. This was the scenario they had feared. Someone among the council wanted their demonstration to fail, creating justification to seize Earth's technology. Under the guise of safety concerns, Dr. Bennett, who had been quietly observing the council members, leaned close to Olivia. Arbiter Vellner shows signs of prior knowledge, she whispered, lower right appendage displaying tension patterns consistent with anticipation, not surprise. Olivia made her decision, immediately activating the contingency they had prepared with Counselor Scholl. Dr. Morgan, initiate Protocol Phoenix, she ordered. Dr. Morgan nodded grimly, accessing a secured channel to the deployment vehicles, adjusting their programming with codes provided by Scholl during their private alliance. On the view screen, the erratic patterns in the catalyst field suddenly stabilized, then began to change, forming new configurations that none of the watching council members had seen before. What are you doing? The Arbiter demanded, his light form pulsing rapidly. Olivia turned to him, calmly adapting to unexpected conditions. Ambassador, as any responsible species would. The planet's surface began to glow as the modified catalyst took effect, combining Earth science with the ancient Petran techniques. Scholl had shared the transformation, accelerating beyond anything Earth had achieved alone. Counselor Scholl moved closer to the observation window, his voice low enough that only Olivia could hear. They attempted to sabotage you by introducing radiation patterns designed to destabilize your catalyst, he said. They have done this before to other species. Below them, the dead world was changing, hour by hour rather than the years it would normally take, clouds forming in the newly created atmosphere. Oceans beginning to fill the deepest craters. The demonstration was succeeding beyond all expectations. The council members conferred urgently, among themselves, clearly disturbed by the unexpected turn of events. The fourth counselor, the musical-toned being, approached. Impressive adaptation. Ambassador Reed, your species shows remarkable resilience. Olivia nodded acknowledgement while maintaining diplomatic poise. We believe flexibility is essential when working with complex living systems. Counselor, as the transformation continued, Captain Foster provided her with secure updates from the Sunjiver. Analysis confirms deliberate interference. Pattern, he reported, originated from a council auxiliary vessel. This was the evidence they needed, proof of sabotage that could be leveraged in negotiations. Olivia shared this information with Ambassador Diaz, who began preparing formal diplomatic protests. After 12 hours, the demonstration had progressed to a point that would have taken years with Earth's original technology. The planet below now showed a thin but sustainable atmosphere, liquid water, and the first simple organisms introduced by the deployment vehicles. Grand Arbiter Velnar called for the Council's attention. The demonstration is deemed successful. He announced, though, with concerning variations from standard protocols, the Council will deliberate on Earth's application for membership. This was the moment Olivia had been waiting for, Grand Arbiter, with respect. We withdraw our application for membership at this time, she said, her voice clear and confident. The chamber fell silent, the Council members frozen in shock. No species had ever rejected Council membership. Olivia continued. Earth instead proposes a mutual defense and technology exchange treaty with the Petran Collective, represented by Councillor Scholl, while maintaining independence from Council authority. The Arbiter's light form pulsed with what appeared to be anger. Such arrangements outside Council jurisdiction are unprecedented. Ambassador Diaz stepped forward, presenting evidence of the attempted sabotage, as is interference with a species demonstration. Yet our sensors detected exactly such interference originating from Council vessels. The Council chamber erupted in chaos, accusations and denials flying between representatives, while the High Council attempted to maintain order. Through it all, Councillor Scholl stood silent, his ancient stone face showing what might have been satisfaction. The fifth councillor finally spoke, silencing the chamber. I accept the treaty with Earth, he announced, as is my right as sovereign of an independent founding civilization. The Petran Collective formally recognizes Earth as an equal partner in galactic affairs. The Arbiter seemed ready to object but hesitated, recognizing the ancient laws that even the Council could not override the founding civilization's retained rights that predated the Council itself. Olivia felt a moment of vertigo as she realized what they had accomplished. In less than a standard day, Earth had gone from supplicant to independent power, allied with one of the most ancient civilizations in the galaxy. As the Council session dissolved into urgent private discussions, Captain Foster leaned close with a rare smile. You realize we just rewrote 10,000 years of galactic politics. Olivia watched as Councillor Scholl approached his massive form, somehow less intimidating now that they were allies. The ancient being inclined his head in respect. You have done what no species has attempted in my long memory, he said. You saw the trap and turned it to advantage. My people were right to watch, yours with interest. Below them, the newly transformed world continued to evolve, a testament to what humanity and the Petrans could accomplish together, and a promise of what was to come. One standard galactic month after the dramatic events at the Council chambers, Olivia stood on the observation deck of the newly commissioned diplomatic vessel Alliance, watching Earth grow larger in the view screen, the blue-green jewel of humanity's homeworld had never looked more precious. Her team had changed during their time among the stars. Captain Foster now wore the formal insignia of Earth's first galactic defense force. Dr. Morgan led the Joint Human-Petran Research Initiative, and Ambassador Diaz coordinated diplomatic relations with the growing number of species seeking direct treaties with Earth outside Council jurisdiction. You should be proud of what you've accomplished, Councillor Scholl said, joining her at the viewport, his massive stone form now a familiar presence. Olivia smiled at the ancient being who had become an unexpected ally. I'm still not used to that title, she admitted. Following the confrontation with the Council, Earth had established the Interstellar Diplomatic Corps with Olivia as its first high representative, effectively equal in status to a Council member. Though Earth remained independent from Council control, the Arbiter continues to protest your status, Scholl said, with what she had learned. To recognize his amusement in his gravelly voice, he has called 3 emergency sessions to discuss the human situation. Noah approached, carrying data displays tracking the diplomatic fallout. 17 species have now requested direct treaties with Earth, he reported, mostly smaller civilizations seeking alternatives to Council dominance. This development had surprised even Scholl. The Council's monopoly on interstellar relations had gone unchallenged for so long that many species had forgotten alternatives were possible. Earth's bold stance had created ripples throughout the galaxy. Dr. Bennett joined them, her expertise in xenopsychology proving invaluable in the new diplomatic landscape. The Acadians are particularly interested in Alliance, she said. Their representative contacted me privately this morning. Captain Foster frowned slightly. The Acadians have significant military capabilities. He noted that could complicate our security arrangements. Olivia considered this development. Carefully, Earth's position remained precarious despite their alliance with the Petrans. The Council controlled vast resources and influence across thousands of worlds. Balancing independence with practical cooperation would require delicate handling. Ambassador Diaz, who had been consulting with Earth's leadership via quantum communication, entered the observation deck with news the United Earth government has approved the establishment of a permanent diplomatic compound in Geneva for off-world representatives. He announced first embassy buildings should be completed within 6 months. Another milestone. Olivia thought, remembering how recently humanity had believed itself alone in the universe. Now alien diplomats would walk among them, establishing permanent ties between worlds. The ship's captain interrupted with an urgent communication priority message from Lunar Command. Approaching vessels detected outside authorized corridors. Everyone tensed, the memory of Council interference still fresh. Captain Foster moved immediately to the tactical display identifying the unknown ships. One Council diplomatic vessel, standard configuration. He confirmed, and one unregistered ship, design unknown. Scholl moved closer to the display, his crystalline features shifting in recognition. The unregistered vessel bears Petrin markings, but of a kind I have not seen in 7,000 years. Before he could elaborate further, a communication request chimed, the ship's systems automatically translating from multiple languages. Ambassador Diaz exchanged glances with Olivia, who nodded, authorizing the connection. The view screen shifted, showing 2 figures side by side, one clearly a Council representative wearing the formal insignia of the Arbiter's office. The other, a Petrin, but unlike Scholl. This being's stone form contained veins of blue energy pulsing beneath the surface. Representatives of Earth. The Council official began. We request immediate landing clearance on urgent diplomatic business. Olivia stepped forward, identifying herself as Earth's High Representative. What is the nature of this urgent business? The Petrin spoke, his voice deeper even than Scholl's. I am Elder Mazarn of the Petrin High Council. Our monitors have detected unusual temporal anomalies originating from your solar system, specifically your moon. We believe these may threaten galactic stability. Scholl seemed stunned by the appearance of the other Petrin, Elder Mazarn. He whispered, I believed all High Council members perished in the Great Collapse. Captain Foster looked alarmed. Temporal anomalies on the moon. We have no such technology. Dr. Morgan, who had been analyzing data from Lunar Command, spoke up quietly. We've been detecting unusual energy readings from the dark side excavation site, but classified them as instrumental errors. The readings match theoretical patterns for space-time distortion. Olivia felt a chill, remembering the ancient lunar ruins discovered decades ago that had accelerated Earth's understanding of quantum physics. The site had been under scientific quarantine for years. Something has been activated, Scholl said grimly. Something my people left behind long ago. The Council representative on screen looked impatient. We insist on immediate access to the anomaly site. This falls under Council security protocols regardless of your independent status. Olivia recognized the political maneuver. The Council attempting to reassert authority through crisis management. She needed to maintain Earth's position while addressing a potentially serious threat. High Representative Reed. The Petrin Elder said more gently, This is not political. This is existential. My people encountered similar anomalies before our separation from mainstream galactic society. They herald something we called the convergence, a natural phenomenon that occurs every 30,000 years when dimensions temporarily align. Noah looked up from his data terminal. Dimensional alignment? That sounds like theoretical physics, not natural phenomena. The Elder continued. We believe your scientist may have inadvertently activated an ancient warning system designed to alert our people to the coming convergence. Olivia made her decision quickly. This situation required cooperation, not competition for authority. Ambassador Diaz, prepare landing authorization for both vessels, she ordered. But with security protocols in effect, Captain Foster, coordinate with Lunar Command, ensure our people maintain control of the site. Turning back to the screen, she addressed both representatives. Earth welcomes your assistance with this matter, but the lunar facility remains under Earth jurisdiction. We will cooperate fully while maintaining our sovereign rights. The Council representative seemed ready to object, but the Petrin Elder nodded, acceptance-wise approach. High Representative Reed. The convergence affects us all regardless of political boundaries, As communications ended, Shoal turned to Olivia, his ancient features showing concern. "I must tell you what I know of the convergence," he said. "It is not merely a scientific curiosity. It represents both danger and opportunity. My people discovered it allows travel between dimensions, opening doorways to parallel realities. The implications were staggering." Dr. Morgan whispered, "Actual multiverse theory confirmed." Shoal continued, "The warning system your people activated was created to predict and monitor convergence events. If it has reactivated after 30,000 years, then the phenomenon has begun." Captain Foster looked troubled from a security perspective. This could be catastrophic, unknown entities crossing dimensional boundaries, unregulated access to alternate realities, or the greatest opportunity humanity has ever encountered. Olivia said, thinking of the possibilities: peaceful contact with alternate versions of their own civilization, exchange of knowledge and technology beyond anything they could imagine. The ship began its descent toward Earth, the blue planet, filling the view screen. As Olivia contemplated this new challenge, they had succeeded in establishing humanity's place among the stars. Now they faced something even more profound. The boundaries between realities themselves were about to blur as Geneva Control granted them landing clearance. Olivia turned to her team. "Whatever comes next," she said, "we face it together. Humanity has earned its place in the galaxy. Now we may help determine the fate of the multiverse." Dr. Bennett smiled slightly, reading the determination in her colleague's expressions. "No pressure." Then she said lightly, "The ship touched down on Earth soil. The first step in humanity's next great adventure had begun."